Okay, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 42. Today we have Rui Ming.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right? And you're half of the work salary man. You are more of a cycling tourist, cycling backpacker. I thought for a change we'd have someone that's not a high performance athlete.
Definitely not high performance for sure.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been saying, how come I always have the high performance athletes? And it just happened to be that way.
It's cool. I mean, today you have like a low performance athlete.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes when you're bikepacking and stuff, you are, it's many days in a row. And so it's not like you're not that athlete. It's just a different sort of endurance, right? Why don't you just give us a bit of background, I guess, of who you are and what you do?
So my name is Rui Ming. I'm 35 years old. I'm half of the work salary man.
Yep.
We are kind of like a personal finance page. I mean, start off as a personal finance page in Singapore. We used to talk about like investing, savings, but eventually we kind of like broaden the topics we cover about ranging to anything from like careers to mental health to economics to sociology, psychology.
Stuff that millennials and Gen Zs sort of have floating around their heads.
Yeah. I think like we try to kind of like make adulthood less scary.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what I try to do.
Okay, and keeps you busy. That's pretty much what you do.
I think it's my main thing. I mean, I've a side business where I kind of like create white label content.
Yeah.
Right. Free advertising for me here, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long have you been doing that, and why did you start that?
You mean work salary man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I started it like actually as a way to kind of prove my bosses like they were wrong.
Okay.
So I used to work in advertising.
Yeah.
And
so you weren't in finance here actually?
No. Yeah, in advertising, like, and what I didn't like about advertising is that every time people would watch an ad, they didn't really learn anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you watch a bank ad, you won't really learn how to manage your money. You just look at it like there's nice visuals.
Yeah.
The music is cool, but that's it, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to do content, but my bosses said like, it won't work because it's too boring. So in kind of like a spiteful way, I said I was meant to show them, actually it can be done.
Were you doing it on the side when you're still working?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So you're half from them. So there's two of you, right?
Yeah.
Are you the illustrator? Or are you the?
So I'm the boring guy. I write the stuff.
writing.
Yeah, I write the stuff.
So you just come up with an idea, and I'm not sure the other guy's name is.
It's called Wei Shun. Yeah.
He does the bubble man drawing.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes he writes also, but I never draw because it's just ugly. When I draw.
Yeah.
I should never draw.
Me too. I'll be a stick man if it's me. Okay. So then cycling, you are I guess you call bikepacker or cycle tourist, or what? How do you define yourself?
Well, actually I do like all sorts of stuff, but I think like probably, even though like the highlight I feel like for my cycling would be like touring, but actually I am a commuter. So I commute to work.
Is that how you started cycling? Is from commuting?
Yeah, I started commuting to work like back in 2016.
Okay.
Because I went on holiday, then like I rented the car. They charged me like very high prices for the car
for like a late return or over excess
it's not like
or something, or
like cleaning fee or something, and the cleaning fee is like $300. I mean, in retrospect, I kind of get why it's $300 because like admin fee and you need to get the cleaner down. But I just, when I was back in 2016, I just felt so angry about it.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? The next time I come on holiday, I'm just gonna cycle everywhere.
Yep.
And then since I'm not on holiday yet, I can just start cycling the world, so I can just train my body
Rocky doing the secret training, and so you started commuting to get yourself. Okay, so you made a conscious decision to start cycling.
Yeah.
Your next holiday, you weren't a cyclist.
Yeah.
So you had to become a cyclist so you could cycle on the next holiday.
Yeah. So I went to Carousel and I bought this like a Polygon Heist 4. I think like it had rim brakes and like the
flat bar
with like the dodgy suspension that didn't really work.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it was like one size too big for me.
Yeah.
And I think that night, like without any cycling experience whatsoever for like many years, I just rode the bike home like 10 kilometers to my house in Jurong East. Yeah. And like, well, my butt was super sore.
Yeah. The saddle was probably way too low, or
yeah. I mean, like you don't really know it back then, right? But then like I think I just kept doing it for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then everything.
So how long were you riding that first bike?
I rode that bike for maybe I think 3 months.
Okay.
Then I like, actually it's too big.
Okay.
Then I just sold it.
So you actually thought it was too big. It's not like you thought I don't get a better a better bike. You just
Yeah.
want something a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think like I mean I've owned like many bikes since then, embarrassingly.
Okay.
But I think one of the bikes that I always like have fond memories of riding is actually just an $800 hybrid.
Yeah.
It's by Marine.
Okay.
It's one of those like steel Marine hybrids.
California brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean I think nowadays there's a lot of attention on like high performance athletes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think actually sometimes I think you don't need a lot of money to actually have fun on the bike.
Yeah, totally. I had a lot of fun just chasing my kids around on bikes, and we just ride somewhere, and you take your own sweet time. You stop at a drink stop, and you just have a little, enjoy life, right?
Exactly. And some of my like fondest memories have been on that $800 bicycle.
Yeah.
In fact, like I went like cycle touring in Mongolia on the $800 bicycle.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, I had to like zeng the parts.
Yeah.
After, because I've been riding it for 5 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, I mean, cheap hybrid, like, way, like,
It's like sturdy and bomb-proof, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're commuting to and from work, so you just bring a backpack with your work clothes or something somewhere to shower when you get there?
Yeah, I think back then was like Jurong East to Orchard.
Okay.
So it's around 10Ks.
Yep.
So
And it's straight down the Park Connector, or are you going down Bukit Timah Road? Or
So you go through like the business park connector Ulu Pandan.
Mm-hmm.
You exit at Clementi Road. You exit at Commonwealth Avenue West.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Like
Right.
Buona Vista sort of area.
Yeah,
right?
around there.
Yep.
You go down, then you take the left at Margaret Drive. You go, then you continue to Kay Siang Road. And you turn left at
You
Tan-
remember very good.
Yeah.
You can always get out the Green Corridor. Green Corridor was probably around about then as well, right?
Green Corridor, I mean, nowadays like the speed limit is like 10 kilometers.
Yeah, I know. It's like ridiculous.
It's a pain.
Okay, and then so commuting for a while, you built your stamina, you understand what it is. What was your first bike packing holiday, and did it go well, or were you woefully unprepared for what you actually because you think you know what you need,
Yeah.
but what you actually need is completely different, right?
So, to be fair, like I think I got all the gear correct. So my first bikepacking holiday was from Tokyo to Hiroshima.
Okay.
So around
How far is-
1,002 kilometers.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
And how long did you allocate yourself for that?
I think around 3 to 4 weeks to do it. Okay, so the bike was great.
Talk us
Yeah.
through what is your thought process? You buy a ticket to Tokyo,
Yeah,
then you're gonna end up in Hiroshima.
yeah. I was just cycle along the coast.
So you just cycle, but then what's the game plan for food? What's the game plan for accommodation? What do you do?
Cause I've been to Japan previously, so I know like there are roughly like convenience stores like here and there.
Like
So
a Lawson. And,
yeah, like a Lawson or like a Family Mart or something. So I wouldn't be in that much trouble.
Yep.
And then because I still have gear from like the times I used to hike,
Yep.
so I would use that to camp whenever like there were no budget options for hotels.
So you just camp on wherever.
I think there were some days I just like slept in this like seawall tunnels thing with like a hobo.
Yeah.
And it was fine, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there were other homeless people around, but it was fine.
Okay.
I mean, they look pretty, you know, malnourished. I'm pretty sure I can take them if it came down to a fight.
So you're just like a hobo sleeping on the side of the road.
And it was really fun.
Yeah,
Like
of
I got to see like so much sides of Japan I didn't see.
It's like that completely the untouristy side of Japan, right?
Yeah. So every time I go to a major Japanese city, right? Let's just say Tokyo or Fukuoka or even like Osaka, you see like a lot of kids. Like the city is very modern,
Yeah.
right? But I think once you leave the city, like I remember there was this day I just passed by like whole villages that were emptied out.
Oh, really? Like ghost towns?
Yeah, with like CDs hanging.
Yeah. Just scare away the birds or scare away
Yeah,
something.
exactly. And it just was such a different way to travel. And I saw like Japan's the aging population like for real, you know, because when you kind of visit the cities,
it's young and vibrant.
you can't see it. Yeah, but I think one thing that caught me off guard was that the route wasn't as scenic as I thought. So from Tokyo to what's that place called? Hakone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean the hills are steep, like it's beautiful and everything. But once you cross that and you pass Mount Fuji,
Yeah.
you encounter what I would describe as like 100 kilometers of tuas.
Like a wasteland.
Tuas is just industrial
So it's
stuff
actually like warehouses and factories
Yeah.
and stuff, and you're just riding right.
for like miles and miles and miles.
It's like lamppost one, but you just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh my god, this is not fun at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, somehow like I kept going, and then you pass like I think what it's called like the Izu Peninsula,
Okay.
and once you pass that, like It's better.
It opens up. And then so you're just like, if there's a budget hotel or something, you just stay in it.
Yeah,
and then-
I think this was like 2017.
Yeah.
So my budget was like, if it's lower than 100 Sing a month, a night, yeah, I'll do it. If not,
unless you can have a shower and you can clean up and stuff. And
I mean, they invented like wet tissue for a reason. So I'll just use wet tissue.
okay.
Yeah. Actually, if you think about it, like the instant food in Japan isn't so bad.
Yeah.
Right. If you go to Family Mart, like the preheat meal, like they're actually okay.
Yeah. It's not like in America, you go there and you go to a 7-Eleven or something, and then the hot dog has been rotating there for 3 weeks or something. It's actually quite nice.
And then I just practice saying like, a hot dog. I want this hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was a pretty crazy experience.
And was there anything that like, did you run out of tubes, or did you anything that you feel like you would have never thought of but you actually didn't eat?
Not really, actually. I think I brought like more than I needed. So I actually brought some books to read, but
You never read them.
I never read them. So I ended up like
That's like me on every holiday.
Yeah.
Read a book, then never read it.
I just put it at the community library at some point. I also had to like make some sudden stops to avoid like this animal called like a tanuki.
Okay.
It's like a Japanese raccoon dog or something.
And they chased you.
No, like they just popped out of nowhere and you just had to jam the brakes.
Oh, it's a stop.
Yeah, and I think this 2017 and like that was when hydraulic brakes first started appearing.
But were you still on that rim brake hybrid?
No. Oh, so the Marine was actually hydraulic. I think they used like pretty low end, like I think Tektro or Riga or something like that. And I was just amazed at like the stopping power. Like, wow, hydraulic is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, and then so so since that was your first one, right? How many backpacking holidays do you have you done?
Wow. I haven't counted actually.
Well, so give us some examples of where you've gone.
So other than Japan, I've been to Mongolia. That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
I can tell you more about it.
I hate like Mongolia is like the last frontier, right? It's
Yeah.
like people with eagles on their arms and that sort of
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
stuff. Okay.
I've done a ride from Munich to Austria.
Okay.
So like from Germany, you kind of cut down to Innsbruck in Austria, and then you go all the way west to I think where Hitler put his bunker.
Okay.
I've done Japan again. I've done like half of Taiwan.
Yeah. Which half, the west or
The west one.
east? The west.
Yeah, the west one. Where else have I been? I mean, I've done like Australia as well.
Yeah. So did you like Margaret River or anything like?
This I think it was Canberra to this place called Basement Bay.
But yes, yeah. Okay.
It's around like 300 k's by myself.
Yep.
Then I mean, I have a whole bunch of stuff I did in Malaysia. I think this year I did this place in Vietnam called Ha Giang.
I've never been to Vietnam.
So it's this crazy hills on the border with China.
Yeah.
And like the elevation, if you add all together, it's like close to it's over 7,000 meters.
Oof. So these places are like the typical Singaporean tourist wouldn't go, right?
Not on bicycle at least.
Yeah. Oh, and in general, like Bay, like what Singaporeans been there before, or all these places in Vietnam. Is that why you do it? You just want to do something a little bit untouristy and just stay off the beaten track?
Yeah, I think after like my first Japan holiday, I just realized like the beauty of bike touring. You get to see so many things happening.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if you're on the bus or you're even on a road trip, right? I mean, a lot of Singaporeans do road trips.
Yeah.
Like you're just moving so fast that you can't see like the details.
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, if you're on a bicycle, you can see like, for example, like the sticker on the railing. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like from some baseball club in Japan.
Yeah.
From the early 2000s.
Or you can even feel the texture of the road, right?
Yeah.
If it's a rough road compared to a smooth
Exactly.
road, and
You can
it's a
you can
windy
see-
day,
see,
it
like
affects you more.
roadkill and like painful details.
Smell the roadkill.
Right, you can smell the roadkill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can literally smell like the whole area like you're riding into. Like for example, I smell yak, right? Or I smell lamb, right? Because in Mongolia there'll be a lot of like wildlife running around.
Yeah.
And I think if you stay on a car, sometimes like it limits what. I mean, of course, a car you can go faster, but in a bicycle you are fully like immersed in that situation.
Yeah.
And your surroundings.
Yeah. So I guess it'll be like running.
Yeah, and also it's like it's a great conversation starter.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Vietnam, like everyone would talk to me because
Who's this random Singaporean guy?
I was the only guy like riding a bicycle there.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And everyone, even they don't speak the language, they will be curious.
Yeah, man. So would you consider yourself bike packer or bike tourer or I don't really, it's sort of new concept for me, right? What is the difference? Is there?
Probably both. I think like if you, I mean, not that the difference matters.
I know a lot of people bring the bike to Taiwan, and they'll ride from Taipei through Taichung all the way down to the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And I would consider that to be bike touring because you're staying in a hotel and there's a support vehicle and that sort of stuff. And it's still legitimate. You're still riding distances. But then there are the other sort of people that would just, okay, it's Wednesday night or Thursday night, I'm going to start riding and I'll see how long it takes to get to Malacca or Kelantan or something, and then just bring a hammock and a tent. And that's, for me, like bike packing, right? Is that roughly how you think of it as well?
Well, I think not. Okay, I'm on disclaimers. Like I'm not like hung up about it.
Okay.
I'm not hung up about it. I'm not an expert, but from what I've seen, like if you use panniers, you're a bike tourer.
Panniers, okay.
Yeah, and then if you use like those like bikepacking bags, you are
the frame bags.
Yeah, the frame bags.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on which bike I ride. I do either. So,
but so when you travel, right? Let's just say you're going to Japan and you go, well, Mongolia is probably a better example. How do you transport everything? Because you're carrying it all with you, right? Do you just go with a cardboard bike box from the local bike store and they just discard it when you get there, but then you go do the same thing when you get back, or?
Yeah, so it really depends like what material is it.
Yeah.
If it's steel, I just chuck it in the cardboard box.
Okay.
Because also like the frame is cheap, right?
Yeah. So the bike is steel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I mean there was once I even like without even putting a box, I just put like one of those like plastic wrappings on it and just checked it in,
and it was okay. It came out there was okay.
Yeah, it was
fine. It was still straight.
Yeah, I took out the derailleur. But I mean, for a lot of steel bikes, like the hanger is welded onto the frame.
Yeah,
especially for the lower end touring stuff.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would mostly just put it cardboard box, and then you can throw away the cardboard box when you get there.
Yeah.
And then you just pay a bike store to repack it.
Yeah. Do the same thing when you get back, and then you don't have to worry about bike box or
exactly
because you can't bring that with you, right?
Yeah, but if you do bike box, which I have in the past, so what I do is like I book one hotel, stay one night, and then I will say, okay, how many look after my bike box, and then I'll go away for like
2 weeks.
But I'll book like 1 day just before.
This is pro tip.
Yeah.
So they keep it in the storeroom or something, and then when as long as you stay there again on the way back, you just check in again. They say, my bike box is here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully it is. And it's always worked for you.
Yeah, I mean, who will steal a bike box? I
don't know. They're pretty expensive these days, I think. And then so you try to take 3 weeks off every year since 2016 to do something like this.
Yeah,
that's still what you do. Have you stayed current to that?
I think more these days.
Nice.
I mean, with age comes money, and with money comes time.
Yeah.
So nowadays I have more time to take
When I first saw that, and I think the post was like 2018 or 2019 we did that, I thought, he's either stuck with it or this is something that you say you're going to do and then it just sort of falls away.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did stick with it.
I think I'm increasing the intensity. Yeah.
And what are your sort of checklist for places to go? What do you think of? Like, I want to go to Egypt, or what attracts you to?
Yeah. So I mean, I have like unfinished business in Mongolia.
Yeah.
Like the last time I went there, like a blizzard kind of cut short my.
Literally a snow blizzard.
Yeah. And then I had to like hold in with like a family of 5, and I had to eat like mutton for 5 days.
So you literally just riding along, and then the blizzard came, you had to stop, and then you just found the close. They live in the yurts and stuff.
Yeah,
there, right?
I mean, I literally like begged them to let me into the yurt, and then I had to drink like their yak milk, even though I was like lactose intolerant. I was like, oh no, there's gonna be consequences for this. But so like Mongolia is definitely on the list. I like to do some stuff in the US, of course. I mean, most of the bikepacking like literature out there is in the US.
Yeah.
I like to do the Karakoram Highway. I think that is in somewhere in Central Asia.
Okay.
Annapurna Circuit, which is usually a walkable trail.
Yeah.
I want to try mountain biking.
Are you allowed to ride? Are you allowed to ride that?
From what I read online, people have biked it, but I don't know whether is it allowed. But it seems like people have done it. I mean, if it's not allowed there, I'll just walk it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So let's just go back. When you had the idea of bikepacking,
Yeah.
you trained for it, you commuted, worked every day. Then you had your first bikepacking holiday. Was it like, yes, this is it. I would do every single holiday from now on. It's always going to be
Kinda like that.
so. You had a vision, and it actually came to true to
Yeah.
roughly true to what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but I think if you are starting out, I think you've for Singaporeans, especially if you speak Mandarin,
Mm-hmm.
I think like Taiwan is a very safe bet.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, infrastructure there is okay,
Yeah.
and then if you give up, you can just get on a train
Yeah.
and just go back home. You don't like be in Mongolia where you have to wait for a taxi for like I think it was like 12 hours, and now that the ride back to the city is another 12 hours.
Yeah.
So that's not what you want to do.
So actually, why don't you talk about that? I'm assuming your bike isn't DR2.
No, it's
when
not.
you couldn't charge, like you run out of battery in the middle of nowhere. So
Nah.
What typically is the bike that you bring in, and is it kind of untech?
Yeah. So I mean, the bikes I ride are like quite low tech. I mean, the most high tech bike I have now, right, is okay, it's quite high tech. It's still mechanical, but it's like 11 speed GRX.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's like
gravel.
So that's like the most high tech stuff.
Yeah.
I actually recently got it upgraded from like a bar and shifter.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I tour, I usually bring like friction shifters.
Yep.
Because
So do you bring spare cables and stuff?
Yeah.
In your, and do you know how to fix all this?
yeah,
things?
of course.
So how did you learn all that sort of
I just watched like some random guy on like YouTube with I don't know, like 47 followers, but they'll teach you how to like properly route like a cable
Yeah.
or how to change the bottom bracket.
So when you're doing your commuting and you're doing in this early days, you're preparing for that first trip.
Yeah.
You're also watching these.
Yeah.
It's too late once you got a flat in Mongolia. It's too late to learn because you got no internet, right?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, like, do you remember my like $800 bicycle?
Yeah.
I wanted to upgrade it.
Yeah.
So I had to like buy like, for example, a new handlebar. I had to change the bottom bracket.
Yep.
Because I want to change the crank.
Yep.
Used to be like square taper. Now
Yep.
it became Holotech.
Okay.
So I learned along the process. It was actually quite an expensive journey because like the annoying thing about bicycles is like so many parts are incompatible with each other.
And even, yeah, so many parts are incompatible and so many parts are outdated.
Yeah.
2 years after they make
Yeah,
them.
and it becomes like outdated so fast, right?
Yeah.
Like one day is the shiniest and greatest thing, and it will make you like faster than ever. Then
Yeah.
next year, like there's no maintenance for it.
Or they change the hood shape and then you can't get the parts anymore.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff I like to buy these days,
Yeah.
which I probably shouldn't, right, are like the older outdated stuff. They're not
Yeah.
necessarily like aero,
Yeah.
but I'm able to fix them and like maintain them myself.
Well, that's exactly what you want, right? You're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
12-hour taxi ride.
Because it's not like you can send your bike into, you know, like the Kenyan maintenance center if you're in Ulaanbaatar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you know how to do so everything from, greasing your change, changing your tubes, changing bottom brackets. What's the worst thing that's happened to you out there?
The worst thing that happened to me is probably like a spoke snap.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but so I can't build a wheel. I can't install a headset.
Okay.
But the rest I can do it.
But building, if a spoke breaks,
Yeah.
you can just like detension the two adjacent spokes.
Oh no, it's snapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just missing one. Yeah, I mean, you can
It
adjust
depends on how many spokes there are.
Yeah.
If there's very few spokes and they're really high tension, it's a bigger deal than if there's like 32.
Yeah.
And so that wouldn't have.
It was
been a big
okay. I
deal.
mean, I could just keep rolling.
Especially with disc brakes, if a spoke breaks, it's not a big deal. If it's a rim brake,
If
the spoke brake, everything goes out of tune.
Yeah.
The wheel goes out of true, and then it's a bit harder, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think mostly because I ride quite durable bikes. Like that's the worst thing that has happened. I try not to ride like full carbon. So much.
So you brought this bike that you rode in with today is it's just a steel frame.
I know it's
aluminum.
this is a alu actually.
Okay, but what size tires do you run?
These are 32C panel races.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you normally tour with, or you wear something bigger than that?
Depends. So like in Mongolia, I will use I was using like $30 Decathlon mountain bike tires.
Yeah, but the width wise 32 or
I think it
even
was
bigger.
between 7.5, 2.2.
2.2. Okay, that's pretty big. That's like a mountain bike.
Yeah.
A mountain bike.
So it depends like how like I'm gonna use like gnarly.
Yep.
Depends how gnarly
Yeah.
the
terrain is.
Yeah.
Okay,
terrain
it's stuck in a blizzard. You're gonna need something pretty
Yeah.
pretty hardy, right?
So, but then if you do road tours, I think like 30s are a sweet spot.
Yeah.
I think 28 sometimes like you can still get trapped in the rails in the drain.
Even 30, even the racing people are using 30s now.
Oh, really?
It's almost like
Wow, progress.
yeah, it's almost like the normal tire size. Like 5 years ago, it was unheard of. It was like 25s, maybe 28s.
Yeah, I remember someone saying like 28 was like fat. I was like, what?
Yeah,
No.
now they most of the bikes are 30, 32s, and even the gravel races are putting them like mountain bike, almost mountain bikes, with drop bars.
Yeah.
So your bike is normally just a drop bar bike, and you put frame bags on it, handlebar bag.
I think there's also like the aesthetic component.
Yeah.
So like for example, if I am touring and I want to look like vintage and stuff,
Yeah.
then you gotta bring like a steel bike with like the, like the special triangular like boom moves bars.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think those are like look really cool for Instagram, but then you can't go fast. Right? Yeah, I mean you can't go fast. You'll be going around at like 20 kilometers per hour. But I mean sometimes that's the beauty of bike touring. You're not racing with anyone.
Yeah. So how many kilometers do you normally cover in a day?
I can cover anything from like 50 to the longest I did for a bike tour was I think 200.
Yeah, that's like almost the whole day you're riding.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think it was downhill as well. I've tried like Audex, you know Audex?
Yeah.
I've tried Audex on this bike.
Yeah.
I think I did 400 and it was just too much. Like I mean, past 200 kilometers.
Let's just say 25 kilometers an hour. It's 4 hours.
It stopped being fun for me. Yeah.
4 hours for every 100 kilometers, and then it's 4 times that, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man. Okay, and then I guess tips for newbies and what you should expect and what you shouldn't expect. You need
For bike touring.
for bike touring.
Wow. But actually, I feel like before people do bike touring, they should like do bike commuting first.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's where you really like get on like the real world skills. One thing that annoys me about like Singapore bike commuters is they put their seat too low.
Okay.
They put their seat too low and then they'll put like their feet on the ground to kind of like
Stop at the stoplights.
balance on it. And then like what they end up doing is like they just waddle around like very unstable and then they inconvenience other people. I feel like you should at least like master that first as like the basics.
Yep.
And after you can go on to stuff like like how to pop your wheel up a curb, how to go downstairs and like literally right downstairs and stuff like that. Because when you are going bike touring, you encounter like a lot of like unexpected surprises.
Yeah.
I would say having actually a background in like mountain biking like would definitely help.
Yeah.
I mean there were times I had to like literally bunny hop, like you're going down.
Only bunny hop with carrying like 15 kilograms of stuff.
If you're traveling like a light enough bag, you can hop it.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are literally times where I'm going down like 50, 60, and then I see like a strange thing on the road.
Yeah.
Then you just gotta hop it. If not, you
don't even know what it could be. A brick, it could be a snake, it could be anything, right?
Exactly.
So I guess master I wouldn't say the mundanity, but master
the basics first.
Basics and to it. The functional cycling. Right?
I think another part would be like not to overspend on gear.
Okay.
I think like Singaporeans, like I mean, we are high income country. Spending on gear sometimes to show people like, oh look, I'm wealthy.
An S-Works gravel bike isn't the best choice.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like if I was in Japan, then I had to go into like Family Mart for a while. If I had to leave my S-Works gravel bike like 20, 30 Ks, I was like, I have a heart attack.
Yeah. Oh, you'd just be on edge the whole time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't relax.
I like rather much have like a bike. I can kind of like leave on the floor, like just put it on the floor, and let it get a few scratches.
It's like a crit racer. They have a lot of them have aluminium bikes because if they have a nice bike, they're too scared to crash it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And break the frame. If you got an aluminium bike, it's hardier, and in worst case, it's $1,000 to change the frame instead of 10,000.
Actually, some of the low end bikes are actually really capable, right? I think a lot of like expensive bikes, they are optimized for speed and aero.
Yeah, they shave off all the excess material. Where a cheap or economical bike, you might have a double weld instead of a single weld, and
exactly.
Then it's much more hardy, right?
Yeah, and also like it's about gearing, right? I think nowadays there's a lot of like fast made about one bike, and I love one bike, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you can get like a greater gear range if you just go like we were triple crankset, right?
It's so hard to find a triple crankset.
I know. Okay, maybe even like double crankset, and like it will cost less.
Yeah.
Right. If you just do like Sora or Tiagra.
Yep.
You don't need like a 105 to go back touring.
Yeah. You basically need something as robust as possible, right?
Yeah.
So I guess talking about gearing, what sort of gearing do you have? Do you have do you normally have a 1x, like a 38 or something at the front? And
yeah. So these days for like simplicity, I do use 1x.
Yeah.
Right. So for that bike over there, it's 42 in front.
Yep.
And then 1136 back.
Okay.
At the back.
Is that typical what you would use for?
Yeah. Do you know why? Because the cassettes at Decathlon are cheap.
Yeah.
And I don't want to buy like a.
Would you carry spare cassettes?
No.
Spares or that sort of stuff? What would your spares be when you were bike touring?
Yeah, I think mostly tubes. Yeah.
Hatch kits as well?
Tubes, patch kits, of course like multi-tool, all that stuff. But obviously I won't bring like a CO2 canister because like...
You have a hand pump?
Yeah, hand pump.
Yeah.
I think mostly that's enough. If I'm going tubeless, I'll bring like the tire thingies. That like little worms that you kind of put into your bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about it. I mean, pretty basic. I mean, if your bike needs anything more than that, then you'll probably be in the shop anyway.
Yeah.
The important thing is that your bike is compatible with the shop's parts at that that place in the world.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I guess you keep it as basic as possible. So you this bike you have here, it's got a friction shifter. Do you do that with all your bikes?
I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
is this because it's simpler and it doesn't need to be adjusted?
I think it's backwards and like forwards compatible. Yeah. So with a friction shifter, I can use like anything from 8 speed up to 12 speed. So let's say I am in Mongolia and they only have 9 speed.
Yep.
I want like my shifting to work with like 9 speed.
Because it's the more you push it, the more the cable moves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's no click. You've got to stop, and hopefully it's right in the right spot, right? And if it makes a little noise, you just touch it.
I mean, it sounds like a pain, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like a disaster to have your chain a little bit off. But actually, it's fine, right? If it's noisy, you just shift it until like there's no noise.
Just keep pushing it. Yeah,
it's fine.
My first mountain bike was one of those with the shifters on the on the handlebars, and then it's worked back then. It still works today.
I actually think like it's the way to go for most people who are not high performance cyclists.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, every year now they release some new group set, and if you want to change, upgrade stuff, you have to change like the whole thing.
Or it's wireless, or you need to plug it into the computer to program it, or it just gets more and more and more complicated. But when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you want it to be as simple as possible.
Exactly.
And as bomb-proof as possible as well, right?
Yeah, I think in some ways like we have overcomplicated the bicycle.
Yeah.
Like I mean actually. Okay, this is controversial, but I mean, for most people, rim brakes are fine, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going off-road, rim brakes are
you're not racing in the rain or you're doing massive downhills.
I mean, look at the average person. They won't put out like, I don't know,
400 watts.
Yeah, exactly. I think like if they do 250 watts, they should be happy. But even if you're doing 250 watts and you don't even weigh like, let's say 80, 90 kg, like what are you doing with disc brakes? So I'm not saying like disc brakes are terrible. I'm just saying for most people probably don't need them. They could get by on rim brakes. And because disc brakes are so expensive, the technology, especially when it comes to STIs, right?
Yeah.
Like I think they can make cycling quite an inaccessible sport for people.
Yeah, once you get like a oversized pulley at the back and then you got tap or something, your whole derailleur is like $700-800.
Exactly.
Or something ridiculous like that. Okay. Cool, man. What's the best way if people have questions for you? Is your Instagram, I guess?
Yeah, they can drop me a DM and like Rui Ming, HGRUIMING.
HGRUIMING. And then when's your next trip and where are you going?
Well, I'm still planning, but I probably back to Japan again.
So when do you normally do it? Is it like do you have a like Christmas, New Year's time?
Not really. I think like if I just see like my work calendar is clear.
Okay.
And because I get to work overseas as well.
Okay.
I'll just tell my colleagues like, hey, I'm going overseas. I will ride bicycles.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I will still be contactable.
Yeah.
I will write the articles I am meant to write.
Yeah.
But, I will be not in the office.
So actually, that's a good point. Do you bring a computer with you and do you bring enough stuff to keep yourself
Yeah, so I used to lug around like a big, not really big, okay, MacBook Air.
Yeah.
I mean, even that is big.
Yeah.
But nowadays I have like an iPad mini and one of those like Logitech like paper thin keyboards.
Keyboard. Yeah.
And it's amazing. Yeah.
And then you just get a local SIM card, or you just.
You can use like a Arello.
What's that?
It's like a eSIM thing.
Okay.
So you just scan it and then your device has
Like a
the-
digital nomad. So that's what they call it.
Yeah,
Right?
kind of like a digital
Bali.
nomad.
Everyone's all the digital nomads are in Bali these days.
Oh, this is not related to bikepacking, but I did this like mountain biking trail, and it was amazing. Like probably like the best in Southeast Asia.
Oh, really?
It's Mount Bromo.
Oh, okay.
Mount Bromo is like super.
They have a Grand Fondo or something out there as well.
Yeah, I think when I was there, I was like, oh my god, is this Indonesia? This feels like Hawaii or something. You're riding down and like you can see like grass fields down the volcano
Oh, nice.
with like the ash flying
Is
everywhere.
that the sort of place where you can get a truck to the top and
Yeah.
then you can mountain bike down?
Yeah.
Some of the most fun mountain biking I've ever done is that sort of mountain
Yeah.
biking where you just take all the hard part is taken
Yeah,
out.
like without the climbing.
yeah, without the climbing. Okay, man. Thanks for coming in. I will pick your brain a bit more, I'm sure, over the next few weeks about bikepacking. But thank you for your time.
Hey, no worries. I have fun.